The 2025 season for the Baltimore Ravens was one of complete and blatant disappointment for players, coaches, and the fan base. The Ravens entered the season tied for the best odds to win the Super Bowl, tied with the defending Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles. Fans thought the team was probably the most well-rounded it had been with Lamar Jackson at QB. During the offseason, the Ravens drafted Malachi Starks in the first round, solidifying another safety beside Kyle Hamilton, along with having Ardarius Washington. They signed corners Chidobe Awuzie and Jair Alexander, a supposed big move in the offseason, along with multiple under-the-radar signings like run stuffer John Jenkins to replace Michael Pierce. The team looked poised to be maybe the best Ravens team yet. During the offseason, however, the bad luck with injuries started quite early. 2024 breakout safety Ardarius Washington tore his Achilles in mid-May, leaving a gap in the safety position. Malachi Starks, the rookie, was left to have to start week 1 when the team wanted him to kind of just take reps as a backup for his first season. Despite the unfortunateness of the injury, the vibes were still high going into the regular season. And the Ravens would have a chance at revenge, traveling to Orchard Park for week 1.
What a great drive put together by John Harbaugh's Baltimore Ravens. It's just another well-designed.
For most of the week 1 game, the Ravens looked almost unstoppable, with the offense putting up 40 points at the beginning of the fourth quarter. However, after a long Derrick Henry touchdown and a rookie Tyler Loop missed PAT, the collapse began. The Bills outscored the Ravens 22-6 in the fourth quarter, with multiple self-inflicted errors being committed by the Ravens offensively and defensively. Derrick Henry fumbles the ball with 3 minutes and 10 seconds to go with the Ravens up 8, just needing 1 or 2 first downs to completely ice the game. With the offense scoring 40, and after they scored 40, the offense completely disappeared, and they couldn't even get the key yards or first downs that they needed to just end the game. With just over a minute left, the Bills got the ball back and easily drove down the field into field goal range. Matt Prater, the backup kicker for the Bills, came on and kicked the game-winning field goal, putting a damper on the beginning of the season for the Baltimore Ravens, and kind of a sign of things to come. The Ravens were unable to finish this game. And I'm not going to spoil the rest of the season because, well, if you're a Ravens fan, you know how it goes, and if you're not, well, sit back and enjoy. This kind of shows how the season's going to go. A team that looks promising for 3/4 of the game just unable to get it done. And kind of a true story with the last few seasons. Fans have been calling for John Harbaugh's head going into the season, saying that, with John Harbaugh at the helm, they're not going to win a Super Bowl. Fans believed that the game against the Bills in the divisional round in 2024-2025, that would be the end of the John Harbaugh era. Instead, he stayed for the 2025 season. And it was a sign that the fan base shouldn't be asking for John Harbaugh to be gone. We'll see if he sticks around later. In week 2, the Ravens got to host the Cleveland Browns and old friend Joe Flacco for the home opener. This was sort of a get-right game for the Baltimore Ravens as the offense looked once again elite. The defense doing exactly what they need to do against the subpar Browns offense. The fans hoped that the offense would show this offensive firepower every week, with 40 and 41 points being scored in the first 2 weeks, albeit 7 coming from defense. Overall, this game felt like, okay, the team is fine. And the players sounded like they believed it too. However, One major thing came from this game, which was star defensive tackle Nnamdi Madubuike. Nnamdi Madubuike was randomly put on the injury report after this game with a neck injury. There was no certain play that he was hurt on or was brought to the medical tent or anything. He just all of a sudden was injured. After this game, Nnamdi Madubuike hasn't played a snap for the Baltimore Ravens, and honestly, his career is up in the air with rumors saying that he's retiring or he won't play next season or the season after. Overall, the loss of Nnamdi Madubuike was just the start of bad luck with injuries for the Baltimore Ravens. Week 3 against the Lions was another primetime game, the second of the first 3 weeks for the Ravens, against a high-powered offense in the Detroit Lions. Like previously mentioned, Nnamdi Madubuike would be ruled out for this game, not put on IR yet, but he was just ruled out. And it was a major loss with the Lions' run game really being their main weapon. David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs combined for over 150 yards, and David Montgomery had his best game of the year against this Ravens defense. However, one major storyline coming from this game was Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry fumbled in a clutch moment for the second time in 3 weeks, questioning whether if he was going to have a fumbling issue from now on, or if it was just a one-time or two-time thing. Regardless of the Derrick Henry fumbles, the defense couldn't get a stop late, and the offense stalled 2 times late in the game. This is the second time already this season that the offense stalls in big moments, and the defense can't get a stop when it matters most. Like previously mentioned, it'd be a sign of things to come, and this was just the second time it happened in a long season. With the injuries coming to Lamar Jackson later in the season, another major thing that came from this game is the sack totals. Lamar Jackson was sacked 7 times in this game. Here's one right here. This obviously is not sustainable for a defense. Like, if an offensive line can give up 7 sacks in a game, that obviously cannot continue to happen throughout a season, and it won't. But having it happen 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 times in a season could put your QB's health in jeopardy. And that's what happened with Lamar Jackson this season, and that's just another one of the many things that put this season in harm's way. In Week 4, the Ravens traveled to Kansas City to face the Kansas City Chiefs. And this was the biggest and most impactful game thus far. Lamar Jackson left midway through the third quarter with a hamstring injury and would not return, leaving Cooper Rush and the backups in to try and save the game. Their attempt, however, was completely unsuccessful, with the Ravens being completely blown out. The only 2 highlights in this game was a Justice Hill 70-plus yard TD and a Justice Hill receiving touchdown on the goal line from Lamar Jackson on the first drive of the game. Overall, a completely just bad game at all parts, from the offense, defense, and special teams unit, and kind of another sign of things to come with big games and the Ravens just not showing up and being able to finish the job. In Week 5, the Ravens hosted the Houston Texans. This was probably the worst game of the season for the Ravens, with multiple injuries throughout and just a complete blowout that would ensue. Kyle Hamilton, Lamar Jackson, and Roquan Smith were just a few of the players that were out, and it showed. The Texans scored 40-plus points for the first time all season, and the Ravens put up 10, with a late touchdown from Derrick Henry being the only touchdown of the game for the Ravens. One storyline for the Ravens was the just awful QB play by Cooper Rush, who the team signed in the offseason. Many fans wonder why Cooper Rush was starting over Tyler Huntley as a backup when Tyler Huntley has had success in a Ravens uniform before. Tyler Huntley would start later in the year and have success. So these 2 games with Cooper Rush as a starter will continue to be questioned for maybe years to come. In Week 6, the Ravens hosted the Los Angeles Rams, looking to avoid becoming 1-5. Lamar Jackson once again did not play, with Cooper Rush starting another week. And this game, albeit it wasn't a blowout, it did not feel like the Ravens were really ever going to win this game. Zay Flowers had 2 big fumbles, which is kind of a big thing in his career and needs to be worked on, but it kind of hurt the team more than anything with a dropped jet sweep and then just got it punched out on one of the last drives of the game. The defense did their job, holding the high-powered Rams offense to just 2 scores, 2 or 3 scores. Albeit a loss for the Ravens is a loss for the Ravens. So moving to 1-5, only one team has ever made the playoffs starting 1-5. So it did not look good for the Ravens after this.
Get the ball back for Baltimore. And they brought him back. He's been on the practice squad and now gets an opportunity with Cooper Rush ineffective. He'll hand it off here, try to get Henry going. That's a pretty good start. Henry for a first down to the outside. It's been a while. That'll be fun. Looking forward to seeing the boys tonight. Meanwhile, Huntley, who can run a little bit, makes a great run for a first down, and his fans react out to the fire.
The following week, the Ravens once again hosted, this time the Chicago Bears. Tyler Huntley took the helm as a starting QB, with Lamar Jackson expected to be back for the Thursday night game a few days later. With a close game in the fourth quarter, Nate Wiggins had a huge interception to put the ball in the red zone and to give the offense a chance to make it a 2-score game. That they did with a passing touchdown to tight end Charlie Kohler. Tyler Huntley has a great game of no mistakes, and the Ravens move to 2-5. With Lamar Jackson returning, aiming for a playoff spot.
In a massive moment. Motion man is Kohler. Go with a big formation, fake the handoff. Huntley looks the other way. Wide open. Touchdown. You can't script it any better than this for the Ravens defense to offense. No, this is a little tight end hide play. They're just going to get him lost in all the traffic as he comes back across. Huntley sees it, knows he's going to be open. And just like you said, Ian, complimentary football.
Thursday night football, the return of Lamar Jackson in Miami. Lamar Jackson throws for 4 touchdowns and a handily win for the Ravens. Everything felt good again. Isaiah Likely finally back from his ankle injury from preseason. The offense is clicking. Lamar is back. What could go wrong? This was the second win in a row, and moved the Ravens to 3-5. And with a weak next few opponents, the Ravens look poised to make a big run for maybe the division, maybe a playoff berth. Everything was in their hands if they could just get the job done. In Week 10, the Ravens and Lamar Jackson would travel to Minnesota to try and move their win streak to 3 games against the Minnesota Vikings. In a sloppy game offensively, the Ravens fought down to the wire to just grit out a win. These are the type of games that you would see in previous seasons that would be losses. Games like the Cleveland Browns last season where it's just down to the wire and the other team just gets the big play instead of the Ravens. This time it was Baltimore that got the big plays, with a rushing touchdown from Justice Hill and a couple big plays from the offense to ice it to end it. Overall, a 3-game win streak is a 3-game win streak, and they moved the team to 4-5, putting them in a good position to try and make a playoff spot and keep making ground on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Overall, good game for Lamar Jackson, just looking to still shake off some rust after not playing for 3.5 weeks. The next week, the Ravens host the lowly New York Jets, looking to continue their win streak and move it to 4 games. This was a sloppy game from the Ravens offense, with the defense completely carrying the team. With 2 touchdowns from Derrick Henry, the Ravens moved to 5-5 and continued their win streak to 4 games. but it did not give the same optimism and hope as the past 3 games did. But still, a win is a win in this league, and you can never complain about a win. But if you can, this would be a game that you can complain about a win. Regardless, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens win 4 games in a row, move to 5-5, and are just out of the division. However, one major thing that really was shown in this game, but was kind of talked about in weeks past, was how, honestly, just not good Lamar Jackson had looked in the pocket. He did not look like he was wanting to take off and run, which was kind of the biggest part of his game, which made him so lethal, is his running and passing ability. He wasn't doing that. It was slow, methodical runs. Like, it was 2 to 3 yards, if that. Fans were wondering if Lamar was maybe just pushing through injury, and maybe he was, but regardless, it kind of hurt the offense for this game and going forward. On Thanksgiving night, the Ravens hosted the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow back from his turf toe injury to face the Ravens in their 4-game win streak, and he dominated. Lamar Jackson, with his likely, and I believe his worst game of the season, multiple interceptions, a fumble. It was just an all-time bad game from Lamar Jackson, one you don't really see from a player of his caliber very often. Isaiah Likely had a very costly play in which he fumbled at the goal line and fumbled out of the end zone for a touchback, taking away a big play and a touchdown, which you can't have. Overall, the biggest part of this loss was you moved to 5-6, you lose a divisional game, and all the ground you just made up with the Steelers, it's gone just like that. Not only did you just lose the ground you gained on the Steelers, all of a sudden the Bengals are back in it. So you have 2 teams to worry about. The Ravens would face the Steelers and the Bengals in the next 2 weeks in what was expected to be the biggest 2 weeks of the season. Needing to go 2-0, 1-1 would suffice, but 2-0 would be great. The Ravens' offense looked bad once more. Lamar Jackson did not look good. And going into the next 2 weeks, you don't expect much from this Ravens offense. The following week, in maybe the biggest game of the year, the 6-6 Ravens would host the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the winner gets the lead of the AFC North in the following week. A sluggish Ravens offense, tell me if you've heard that before, starts out extremely slow, with the Steelers going up 20-9. The Ravens punch back. Isaiah Likely scores a touchdown, and then the Steelers go back down on a screen pass, untouched. Jalen Warren touchdown. Everything feels kind of just out of reach for the Ravens when they answer and go down and have a chance to take the lead. But it was called incomplete. Isaiah Likely has the ball, takes 3 steps, and is called incomplete. Fans are questioning it. Uproar. But it was called incomplete. The Ravens get the ball back with little time left, no timeouts, are unable to score. Steelers win. Ravens move to 6-7. But the storyline of this game was the incompletion call on the Isaiah Likely, what could have been a touchdown to give the Ravens the lead. The Ravens now had their work cut out for them, as in they needed to win bad the next week and many weeks after. And needed the Pittsburgh Steelers to lose. They no longer really controlled their own destiny.
Watch the legs. Here's Jackson. Gets past Queen. Dumps it up. Torrey trying to breathe some life into this Bengals offense. 8 catches, 114 yards. How much did you see that?
In an absolute must-win game in Cincinnati against Joe Burrow, a rematch of Thanksgiving night, the Ravens defense showed up, pitching the first shutout for the team in over almost 2 years. The biggest play of the game was a Kyle Van Noy interception, which he handed off to Alomi Gilman for pick 6. But overall, the offense did not do anything really special. But regardless, they win the game. The defense picks up the offense, and if they can continue doing this, who knows what this Ravens team could do. They just have to beat the Patriots or the Packers in the next couple weeks, in the next 2 weeks, and the Steelers to lose one of the next 2. And they have a winner-go-home game in Week 18 for the division. The Ravens now control their destiny. In Week 16, in a huge game against the New England Patriots after the Pittsburgh Steelers defeated the Detroit Lions, the Ravens are up double digits in the fourth quarter. But that's not the storyline. Lamar Jackson enters the game, starts the game. He's back from his injuries. He's looking great. He's looking the best he has all season. But on a run play, he gets kneed in the back and is out for the rest of the game. Tyler Huntley comes in and keeps the ship afloat. In fact, the Ravens look great. The offense is still humming. The run game's cooking. The defense is cooking. You go up 2 scores after a fake punt by the Patriots. But that doesn't matter. A Zay Flowers rushing touchdown puts the Ravens up 2 scores, but a Drake-made deep ball puts the Patriots back within a score, and another Drake-made touchdown gives the Patriots the lead. On the first play of the next drive, the game-winning drive, or what could be, Zay Flowers tries to make a move and fumbles the ball, ending the game and putting the Ravens almost in no control. Going into Week 17, the Ravens would need to beat the Packers in Lambeau and for the Pittsburgh Steelers to lose in Cleveland. If that happens, a Week 18 must-win, win-or-go-home game would occur. Otherwise, the Ravens would be eliminated from playoff position. Week 17 was a Derrick Henry masterclass. I mean, there's no way else to put it. No way else to lead off the segment or game or anything. There's no way else to put it other than Derrick Henry won the Ravens this ball game. I guess I could also say that Lamar Jackson did not play in this game. Tyler Huntley was once again playing and was a starter. And he did just enough to win. He didn't lose them the game. The offense ran through Derrick Henry, who had 4 touchdowns and over 200 rushing yards. And they faced off against the Green Bay backup, Malik Willis, who didn't have a bad game himself until he got injured and Clayton Tune came in and threw a pick on his first throw. But now the Ravens would sit and wait, and if the Pittsburgh Steelers lost the next day, they would have a pseudo-playoff game the week after in Pittsburgh.
It'll take us to the 2-minute warning, and they're starting to celebrate in Chicago. Derrick Henry with a hole. Derrick Henry, touchdown. His 4th of the night. King Henry rules all in Green Bay.
The following day, the Steelers down to the wire with the Cleveland Browns at the goal line with 4 downs to go, needing a touchdown. And they throw to Marquez Valdes-Scantling 4 times. And on 4th down, it falls incomplete. And just like that, the Ravens have new life, needing 1 win against the Steelers to clinch a playoff spot. Here we are, Week 18, the biggest game of the year in Pittsburgh. Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is back and supposedly healthy. And he comes up clutch. This game was an all-time AFC North classic, all-time Pittsburgh Ravens classic. And it was done in like the last 5 minutes of the game. Lamar Jackson finds Zay Flowers for 2 50-plus yard touchdowns. But both of them are immediately responded to by the Pittsburgh Steelers with a Calvin Austin TD and a Gainwell TD. The Calvin Austin TD was given up by Chidobe Awuzie biting on an underneath route when there was no need to. Just another instance of bad coaching, not keeping the players disciplined. And that was, again, a consistency throughout the season, and maybe was the reason that what we'll talk about next happened. But ultimately, all those things happened, and Chris Boswell misses the PAT, and it's a 2-point game, and Lamar Jackson and the Ravens have a chance to go down and win the game. Backup running back Keaton Mitchell, a great speedster, gives the Ravens fantastic field position and are just a couple yards, maybe 15 yards away from field goal range for rookie Tyler Loop. And on 3rd and 7, Lamar Jackson throws the ball away. Now let's talk about Tyler Loop real quick. Tyler Loop has very good accuracy under 50 yards. Did not miss a kick all season under 50 yards, but couldn't kick 50-yarders. So the Ravens needed this first down. They would have needed it regardless. But the play they got was a Isaiah Likely contested catch. A fantastic catch for Isaiah Likely, what could be his last game in a Ravens uniform. And it set up a Tyler Loop field goal to win them the division and to go to the playoffs. With no time left, Tyler Loop aims the field goal, it's centered, and it's wide right. The Ravens are eliminated, Steelers advance. The Tuesday following the loss, the unthinkable happens. John Harbaugh fired. Who'd have thought? Now the Ravens are left with no head coach, and many speculate that the offensive and defensive coordinators will not return next season. With Todd Monken saying that he was fired or will be fired and lost his job in an interview with a Ravens podcast. So the Ravens now need a head coach. Is it a Clint Kubiak? Is it a Brian Flores? Is it a Jesse Minter? Or is it someone under the radar? No one really knows. The Ravens are still interviewing. But what we do know is the Ravens have a lot of work to be done in the offseason. Tyler Linderbaum is a free agent. Isaiah Likely is a free agent. Charlie Kolar is a free agent. Keith Mitchell is a free agent, just to name a few. Chidobe Awuzie, Ardarius Washington, Alohi Gilman. One thing I didn't mention in this video or so far is the trade of Odafe Owe, former first-round pick for the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens traded Odafe Owe to the Chargers for Alohi Gilman because they didn't want to pay Odafe Owe. However, one major thing throughout the season was the lack of pass rush, and Owe kind of found a lot of success on the Chargers. Owe started the season slow for the Ravens, didn't have a single sack this season before he got traded, but you still could have used someone who had 10 sacks last season. That trade could go down as a trade that maybe costed the Ravens their season if you really think about it. But nevertheless, the Ravens have the 14th pick in the 2026 draft and are looking to really aim big and really capture Lamar Jackson's, maybe one of his last seasons in his prime with him being 29. You really want to get a victory and a championship for the QB that really brought you back to relevance after Joe Flacco's down years. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I will be back not in 3 months, probably a lot sooner, because I have another idea, and then we got the MLB coming up. But I really appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you.